Hey degenerates! Sorry, I mean intelligent financial explorers. Welcome back to the channel where we decode the cryptoverse and occasionally roast the Fed. Last week, something crazy happened. Congress did something kinda smart. Yep, they passed the Genius Act, real name, not a meme, I swear. This is a landmark bill, regulating stablecoins, shaking up the banks, and indirectly throwing shade at central bank digital currency. Plus, it hints that Bitcoin just might be inevitable. We're also going to get into the Clarity Act and the Anti-CBDC Act later in this video. So stick around, grab some popcorn or maybe your hardware wallet, and let's get into it. First things first, let's start with the name. Genius Act stands for Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for US Stablecoins. I know, sounds like a Silicon Valley intern named it during a Red Bull-fueled branding sprint. But jokes aside, this law actually matters. On July 18, 2025, it became the first federal law regulating stablecoins in the US. But why now? Because Congress finally realized that regulation by SEC tweet was not a sustainable strategy. They even passed it with bipartisan support, which in 2025 is as rare as a MetaMask transaction without gas fees. I mean, come on, guys. Alright, so what's this act actually do? And I promise I'll try to make this a little bit more interesting than reading IRS tax code. Well, maybe. So first is licensing. If you want to issue a stablecoin, you now need a license, either from the feds or a state, kind of like choosing between the DMV or a TSA. Second is reserves. Stablecoins must be fully backed one-to-one by safe assets like US treasuries. So no more backing with like part cash, part crypto, part vibes. Third is transparency. Monthly reserve reports and annual audits are required, which means Circle and Tether can't just say, trust me, bro, anymore. Fourth is no interest-bearing coins. They nixed yield-paying stablecoins, which honestly feels like the government saying, look, if you want yield, go lose it all in DeFi like everyone else. Fifth is AML plus sanctions. Yep, stablecoin issuers are now full-grown financial institutions. You need to KYC your cat if it wants to mint USDC. So what does all this mean? Well, four things. One, the big dogs like Circle and Paxos are thrilled. They've basically been playing crypto on regulation hard mode for years, and now they get a level playing field. Two, no more shadowy stablecoin ops. If your reserves are sitting in a cave in Uzbekistan guarded by your goat, those days are numbered. Three, almost every bank is now going to get into stablecoins. Blockchain adoption is literally about to get wild. And lastly, the law bans interest-bearing stablecoins, which is like outlawing espresso shots in a coffee shop. Sure, you can still serve caffeine, but why? I'm sure banks will try to get around this, but we'll see. Speaking of banks, what happens when JP Morgan meets stablecoins? Well, the Genius Act lets banks issue stablecoins, but only through separate subsidiaries. That's Congress speak for, sure, you can come to the party, but stay over there and don't touch anything. So imagine JP Morgan has a stablecoin division, but it can't lend, can't invest, and basically has the job of standing quietly in the corner holding your dollars. It's like letting your cousin come to your wedding, but only if he promises not to hit on the DJ again. Oh, and it wasn't just the Genius Act this week. We also got the Clarity Act and the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act. Some quick notes on those. Let's start with the Clarity Act. First, this act finally draws the line between what's a security and what's a commodity in crypto. Here's the TLDR. Ethereum, that's a commodity. Your uncle's Rugpull token, apparently that's a security. Now for the Anti-CBDC Act, this one is a little bit more self-explanatory. It bans the Fed from issuing a retail CBDC, which means no Fedcoin and no government-backed app to track every dollar that you're spending. Somewhere, 1,000 libertarians just fist-pumped over their cold storage wallets with fireworks going off in the background. I mean, this is huge. In a roundabout way, all this just reinforces one thing. Bitcoin is inevitable. It's not a stablecoin, so Genius doesn't touch it. It's not a security, so Clarity says hands off. It's not a CBDC, so it doesn't get banned. And it's definitely not a government-run database with facial recognition and expiry dates on your money. So what is it? A global, permissionless, scarce, digital rock that continues to grow stronger every time Congress admits it doesn't understand the technology, but still tries to anyway. So to sum it up, the Genius Act is real, The Clarity Act might save us from Gary Gensler's interpretive dance of securities law, and the anti-CBDC law, let's just say it was sponsored by Ron Swanson's ghost. But in the middle of it all, Bitcoin's just vibing, minding its own business, stacking blocks, and watching the fiat world implode on a predictable schedule. So if you like this breakdown, hit the like button harder than the Fed hits the money printer. Subscribe for more Bitcoin breakdowns, maximalism, and inappropriate humor that probably won't age well. Until next time, Ratchy out.